The seven Hermetic principles. The principles of truth are seven. He who knows these understandingly possesses the magic key before whose touch all the doors of the temple fly open. That is a quote coming to us from the Kybalion, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. It is Wednesday, and you know what that means. Time to continue our research into Wednesday wisdom, or the lost wisdom of the ages, specifically this series, Hermetic philosophy. And we find ourselves on chapter 2 of the Kybalion, reading for purposes of teaching and commentary and expanding the mind. So through this increased awareness, we can hopefully increase the quality of not only our lives, but the lives of those around us. And like Thoth, the Egyptian sage god, also known as Hermes Trismegistus, taught us and told us at the beginning of the Hermetica and the Corpus Hermeticum is there can be no spiritual pursuit, religion, more true or just than to seek to know the things that are. And a pure philosophy is a spiritual striving through a constant contemplation to attain true knowledge of Atum, the one God, the universe. And so, with that being said, the principles of truth are seven, and he who knows these understandingly possesses the quote unquote magic key, before whose touch all the doors of the temple fly open. The seven Hermetic principles on which the entire Hermetic philosophy is based are as follows. Number one, ladies and gentlemen, the seven Hermetic principles, the principle of mentalism. Number two, the principle of correspondence. Number three, the principle of vibration. Number four, the principle of polarity. Number five, the principle of rhythm. Six, the principle of cause and effect. And number seven, the principle of gender. So, as is being described here, reality or the universe, whatever we find ourselves in, is made up and follows these principles, made up of and follows mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. These seven principles will be discussed and explained as we proceed with these lessons. A short explanation of each of these, however, may as well be given at this point. And we begin today, ladies and gentlemen, with number one, the principle of mentalism. And as we remember from previous reading in this series, which we just started, so we're only on the first chapter. This is the second chapter, however. Number one, the principle of mentalism, the all is mind. The universe is mental. This principle embodies the truth that all is mind. It explains that the all, quote unquote, which is the substantial reality underlying all of the outward manifestations and appearances, which we know under the terms of, quote, the material universe, the phenomena of life, matter, energy, and in short, all that is apparent to our material senses. But with that being said, the all is spirit, which in itself is unknowable and undefinable, but which may be considered and thought of as an universal, infinite, living mind. It also explains that all the phenomenal world or universe is simply a mental creation of the all, subject to the laws of created things, and that the universe as a whole, and in its parts or units, has its existence in the mind of the all. So just like we have little minds and we can imagine things, we are within the mind of the all, in which mind we live and move and have our being. This principle, by establishing the mental nature of the universe, easily explains all of the varied mental and psychic phenomena that occupy such a large portion of the way they stated as public attention, and which without such explanation are non-understandable and defy scientific treatment. An understanding of this great Hermetic principle of mentalism enables the individual to readily grasp the laws of the mental universe, ladies and gentlemen, and to apply the same to our own well-being and advancement. Now, it makes me want to stop right there because this is what it's about to me. It's not about trying to be some kind of magician or, it's not about trying to manifest $1 million. But that sentence right there, an understanding of this great Hermetic principle of mentalism enables the individually to readily grasp the laws of the universe, but then to apply the same to our well-being and advancement. Your well-being, ladies and gentlemen, how well have you been being? This isn't a judgment, but it's like, how is the quality of your moments been? And each of our moments make up our lives. So if we want to have a higher quality of life, more happiness, more joy, more well-being, then we really need to think about that. And that is something that we need to work on for ourselves. And so that we can get to a point through understanding philosophy, spirituality, psychology, the nature of reality and ourselves, and all of these great questions, and be able to grasp these laws and these principles and these philosophies and able to apply that wisdom. This is like the purpose of my channel here, to apply this wisdom of the ages, and so that we can create a greater sense of our own well-being, and we can begin to feel and see and progress in our own way of advancement. And what I would like to describe, I got from Wayne Dyer, as moving back towards source rather than away from it, or being resonant rather than dissonant. Let me continue now. Quote, the Hermetic student is enabled to apply intelligently the great mental laws, instead of using them in a haphazard manner. With the master key in our possession, ladies and gentlemen, the student may unlock many doors of the mental and psychic temple of knowledge, and enter the same freely and intelligently. The principle explains the true nature of energy, of power, and of matter, and why and how all of these are subordinate to the mastery of mind. And why and how energy, power, and matter are subordinate to the mastery of mind. One of the old Hermetic masters wrote long ages ago, ladies and gentlemen, quote, he who grasps the truth of the mental nature of the universe is well advanced on the path to mastery. And I highlighted that there because I find that important. He who grasps the truth of the mental nature of the universe is well advanced on the path to mastery. And these words are as true today as at the time they were first written. Without this master key, mastery is impossible, and the student knocks in vain at the many doors of the temple. Quote unquote. That, ladies and gentlemen, is principle number 1, mentalism. All is mind, and the universe is mental. And like it said just before, these principles will be discussed at length later in such paragraphs as, or in such chapters rather, as mental transmutation and the all, and the mental universe, the divine paradox, and much, much more. But for now, let's take a look at principle number 2, the principle of correspondence, and see how far we make it today, ladies and gentlemen. As all of this is important and deserves its own contemplation. Because remember, the key to understanding this, as we were taught from Thoth in the beginning of the Hermetica once again, is that a pure philosophy, so the way that we can get this, is a spiritual striving through a constant contemplation, a constant ponderation, a constant meditation, a rumination, a thinking upon and about just that simple bit that we just went through about a non-understandable and defying scientific treatment, something that is without explanation. And this law of mentalism. I mean, if we just left it there, it would leave us to ponder on that. That is the point. A contemplation, constant contemplation to attain true knowledge of Atum, the one God, or the things that are, the universe, the all. Principle number 2, ladies and gentlemen, the principle of correspondence. As above, so below. And as below, so above, it credits this to the Kybalion, but this is a newer book written by William Walker Atkinson that is based upon research of Hermetics from centuries and centuries ago. But that would be interesting because everybody recognizes as above, so below, so above as a Hermetic coinage or a coined term, Hermetic phrase. But that makes me wonder if actually it was just William Walker Atkinson that made that phrase up. We would have to go back into the the Corpus Hermeticum and the Hermetica to see if we find that in actually the old writings and manuscripts. However, the principle of correspondence, as above, so below, as below, so above. This principle, ladies and gentlemen, embodies the truth that there is always a correspondence between the laws and phenomena of the various planes of being and life. The various planes of being and life. Consider that there could be various planes of being and life. The old Hermetic axiom ran in these words, as above, so below, as below, so above. And grasping of this principle gives one the means of solving many a dark paradox, a hidden secret of nature, that there are planes beyond our knowing. But when we apply the principle of correspondence to them, we are able to understand much that would otherwise be unknowable to us. This principle is of universal application and manifestation on the various planes of the material, mental, and spiritual universe. It is a universal law. And this is what I have highlighted here. The ancient Hermeticists considered this principle as one of the most important mental instruments by which man was able to pry aside the obstacles which hid from view the unknown. Ancient Hermeticists considered this principle as one of the most important mental instruments by which man was able to pry aside the obstacles which hid from view the unknown, the principle of correspondence. Its use even tore aside the veil of Isis to the extent that a glimpse of the face of the goddess might be caught. Just as a knowledge of the principles of geometry enables man to measure distant suns and their movements while seated in his observatory, so a knowledge of the principle of correspondence enables man to reason intelligently from the known to the unknown. Studying the monad, he understands the archangel. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the third of 7 Hermetic principles, the principle of vibration. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. This principle embodies the truth that, quote, everything is in motion. Everything vibrates, nothing is at rest. Facts which modern science endorses and which each new scientific discovery tends to verify. And yet, this Hermetic principle was enunciated thousands of years ago, ladies and gentlemen, by the masters of ancient Egypt. Now, I think it's becoming more and more apparent to many of us. The more that we learn, the more that we know that we don't know we don't know shit, ladies and gentlemen. And the more that we discover, the more that we find out that that is the case. And actually, we've been going backwards for a very long time. And we were just so arrogant to think that we were as smart as we've ever been. But really, that's the furthest thing from the truth. Because thousands of years ago, the mystics and the masters and the sages of the ages of ancient Egypt had already long known about this scientific discovery about the quantum nature of reality and the vibration, and that everything is moving at all times. This principle explains that the differences between different manifestations of matter, energy, mind, and even spirit result largely from varying rates of vibration. From the all, so I highlighted 2 parts there. Matter, thousands of years ago by the masters of ancient Egypt. Matter, energy, mind, and spirit, varying rates of vibration. So matter is one rate of vibration. Energy is another, probably a higher rate of vibration. Mind or mentalism, thought, thinking, higher rate of vibration, and even spirit, a higher rate of vibration. From the all, which is pure spirit, so the highest rate of vibration, down to the grossest form of matter, all of it is in vibration. The higher vibration, the higher the position in the scale. So you could make a scale for yourself if you had a little chart here, and you could put matter and the grossest forms of matter down at the bottom, and then slowly work your way up of energy and mind and spirit and pure spirit. It would kind of be like Dr. David Hawkins' scale of consciousness. If you've never seen that before, check that out. We've showed it many times here on this channel and talked about it. The vibration of spirit is at such an infinite rate, ladies and gentlemen, of intensity and rapidity that it is practically at rest. That makes me think, what? How is that possible? First thing that popped into my mind was a tire, or maybe like the rims on a wheel going really fast. And as it speeds up, it starts to go so fast that it seems like it's doing nothing anymore, and it's just at rest. Or you could think about the propellers on a helicopter. It starts at this position of rest, and then as it speeds up, it goes so fast that, as it just said there, which is very interestingly explained, the vibration of spirit, that made me want to take a deep breath and, do some sort of meditation for a moment. The vibration of spirit is at such an infinite rate of intensity and rapidity that it is practically at rest. Oh, see, this is why I shouldn't ramble and just keep reading, because, like this time, it says exactly what I was rambling about. Quote, just as a rapidly moving wheel seems to be motionless. Anyways, this is all for fun. Come on. Spiritual philosophy, ladies and gentlemen. We can't take things too serious because I think then that distracts us. We have to allow. And this is a lot of what we've learned in this is kind of just being an observer and allowing and trying to harmonize with and then flow with. You can't float in water by trying to step on it and push and get it on top of it. You have to work with it. And then when you kind of figure out how it's going and you work with it and flow with it, then you can begin to swim, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. So it's just another metaphor. But we can't fight it. That's the point. So we've got to have a little levity and comedy from time to time. But nevertheless, just as rapidly moving wheels seem to be motionless, and at the other end of the scale, there are gross forms of matter whose vibrations are so low as also seem to be at rest, maybe like rocks. Between these poles, there are millions upon millions of varying degrees of vibration, from corpuscle and electron, atom and molecule, to worlds and universes. Everything is in vibratory motion. This is also true on the planes of energy and force, in parentheses, which are but varying degrees of vibration. Energy and force, varying degrees of vibration. And so, and also the mental planes, whose states depend upon vibration, and even on to the spiritual planes and understanding of this principle with the appropriate formulas enables Hermetic students to control our own mental vibrations, as well as those of others. This is where it comes into the realm of what some would call as magic or magician stuff. But once again, to me, this is spiritual philosophy so that we can increase the quality of our lives. So if we can use this magic or magician kind of stuff to have a better life while not going against the will of any other soul or human being, then I think we should do such things. However, be very careful, as we've been warned before, but an understanding of this principle, nevertheless, with appropriate formulas, I think that being the most key point there, enables us ladies and gentlemen, to control our own mental vibrations. In other words, I think that means to influence our own state of well-being and our focus and our intentions and what it is that we actually think about the things that we think about. It's like I always go back to. You got to change your thoughts to change your life, ladies and gentlemen. And if you want to have a better life, then that begins with having better thoughts. How do we do that? Well, there's many ways. There's many masters and teachers, mystics, philosophers, poets, sages of the ages, ladies and gentlemen. But we have to be willing and we have to seek to discover the lost wisdom of the ages. Seek to discover the hidden wisdom and the hidden mysteries of our history. But that being said, let us finish up with today in the principle of mentalism, correspondence, and vibration. The book continues. I'll just reread what we were saying there. This is also true on the planes of energy and force, on the mental planes, and even the spiritual planes. An understanding of this principle of vibration with appropriate formulas enables Hermetic students to control our own mental vibrations as well as those of others. Masters also apply this principle to the conquering of natural phenomena. So yeah, I highlighted a circle around the word natural, and I can barely see it because it's in highlighter right down here. If I could get that in a shadow, but I can barely see it, but it says elemental. So the masters also apply this principle to the conquering of natural phenomena in various ways. I asked the question, did that mean elemental phenomena? So a mastering of the functioning of the elements of reality. The elements having their archetypes and characteristics and electric and magnetic connections to certain parts of reality that play a role with all that. And all these principles and laws included, however, quote, he who understands, he or she, I will add, who understands the principle of vibration has grasped the scepter of power, says one of the old writers. He who understands the principle of vibration has grasped the scepter of power. Next time, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be continuing looking at the 7 Hermetic principles, and we'll be doing principle number 4, 5, 6, and 7. Polarity. Very fascinating. Everything is dual. Everything has its poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same, opposite and identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, the 7 Hermetic principles. Number 1, mentalism. Number 2, correspondence. Number 3, vibration. We all went over those 3 briefly here today as an introduction. Next week, we will be doing principle of polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender, ladies and gentlemen. The all, which is pure spirit. The higher the vibration, the higher the position in the scale. Yet this Hermetic principle of vibration, enunciated thousands of years ago by the masters of ancient Egypt, matter, energy, mind, and even spirit, being various rates of vibration. That is a boom, ladies and gentlemen, to the lost wisdom of the ages and the wisdom of Hermetic philosophy. For generations, readers have debated the origins and studied the knowledge of this mysterious exploration of Hermetic wisdom attributed to the three initiates. And for now, we'll pause on our journey and put this book on ourself. Get this book for yourself on our shelf. Get this book for yourself so you can put it on your shelf. I have it linked in the description below the video there in the info box. Category Occult Metaphysics. Well, I like it. Get it for yourself to put it on your shelf, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here. I love and appreciate each and every one of you that spends time with me. Remember, there is no way to happiness. Happiness is the way. It is the activity that we must bring to life. We create the ability within ourselves to bring it to life. And then all the things we've been telling ourselves, oh, when I get this much and have that much, then I'll finally be happy. That's irrelevant because then hopefully we are there. And the entire journey is wonderful. Also, remember, seek to achieve and maintain happiness through enlightenment, through a greater awareness and understanding of the nature of reality and the things that are, so that through that awareness we can increase the quality of our lives and also seek to discover the lost wisdom of the ages and the mysteries of our history. Thank you so much. I love and appreciate each and every one of you that spends time here with me. Time and attention are our most valuable assets, so it means a ton to me that you would spend it here. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Also, if you want a landscape painting, I have that linked below in the description, as well as a link to the ultimate antioxidant known to man, C60 Power. Give yourself the gift of health. All right. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, be the change that you want to see. Be the example that you want to set. No, 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 no.